JBNN, we keep you informed. I'm Michelle Jones, and in the news, Jamaican farm worker dies suddenly in Canada. A Jamaican seasonal farm worker died last Thursday after collapsing at a farm in Canada. Roy Walker, 68, departed Jamaica on March 17 for his annual journey to Canada, where he worked at the Sheridan Farms. Less than a week later, he was dead. According to Walker's niece, Alicia Williams, Walker's sudden death has plunged his community of shooters in Kellett's Clarendon into sadness. It has also left his family very puzzled and confused, as according to Williams, her uncle appeared to be in good health prior to leaving Jamaica less than a week earlier. It is really a shock to the entire community, because he had just left Jamaica and he seemed to be in good health. Although he had a little diabetes, he's been diabetic for almost 10 years, Williams said. He was a very jovial man who loved to sit and socialize when he was not planting his ground. He went to Canada almost every year for the last 20 years, for about 8 to 9 months at a time, she added. Williams further shared that the Ministry of Labour was in touch with the family, who are awaiting the result of an autopsy on Walker's body. In the meantime, Williams says that the family continues to mourn, noting that the ordeal has been made more difficult by the lack of information so far around his sudden passing. The Jamaica Liaison Service head office in Toronto, when contacted, declined to comment on the matter, citing that it could not disclose private information. Efforts to get a comment from the Ministry of Labour also proved futile. Senton man stabbed to death, teen in custody. A Senton teen has been taken into custody following a fatal stabbing incident in Claremont on Tuesday night. The dead man has been identified as 58-year-old Desmond Smith, otherwise called Bandic, of Cultural Grove District in Claremont. The police report that around 10:30 p.m., Smith got into an altercation with the teen. During the altercation, Smith was stabbed, allegedly by the teen. He was taken to hospital where he was pronounced dead. The teen was subsequently arrested by the police. Brothers convicted of fatal home invasion lose appeal. 2 brothers who were convicted and each sentenced to over 20 years in prison for shooting another man to death during a home invasion over 16 years ago had their appeals dismissed on Wednesday. Lennox and Paul Branson were convicted in April 2019 for the shooting death of Richard Allen in November 2007. Lennox Branson was sentenced to 27 years in prison at hard labor, while Paul Branson was handed a 22-year prison sentence by Chief Justice Brian Sykes, who presided over the trial. Sykes ordered that both men must serve 10 years before they become eligible for parole. The Branson brothers, through their attorneys Melrose Reed and Anthony Williams, challenged the convictions and the sentence. The attorneys argued, among other things, that the totality of the evidence related to the identification of their clients was insufficient, but a panel of 3 judges, in their ruling, affirmed the convictions. The judges also rejected Paul Branson's application for leave to appeal his sentence. Prosecutors Andrew Martin Swaby and Okita De Silva led evidence during the murder trial that around 7:30 a.m. on November 19, 2007, the Branson brothers were among 3 men who invaded Allen's home. A third man, identified only as Paul, was subsequently shot and killed. According to an eyewitness, who was 16 years old at the time, Allen was standing in the back room of the house when Lennox Branson, Paul Branson and Paul barged in, all carrying handguns. She said she heard a loud explosion and rushed to the room. She said she saw the Branson brothers standing at the entrance to Allen's room. According to the woman's account, Lennox Branson pointed his gun at Allen and fired several times. She said Allen fell to the ground and Lennox Branson went over him and continued firing before all 3 escaped on foot. More teachers now paid, says Williams. Education Minister Favour Williams says all teachers who receive their salaries through financial institutions have been paid. Williams says teachers at bursa-paid schools are in the process of being paid. There are about 192 schools, we call them bursa-paid schools, to whom the Ministry of Education sends a subvention and then they in turn pay the teachers. I know that has been happening, as well as in terms of the schools getting the subvention, she said. The Education Minister, who provided an update in an interview, sought to assure that all issues should be ironed out by Thursday. She said the Ministry of Education will be facilitating questions from teachers about the changes on their payslips in relation to the new compensation scheme. The ministry is planning a series of virtual meetings to address these concerns. Additionally, Williams said a number of telephone lines will be set up for teachers to call and make queries. Higgler charged after robbing $2,000 from 3 people. A 48-year-old man has been charged with robbery with aggravation following an incident along Harbour Street in Kingston on Tuesday, March 28. Charges never found. Higgler of Regent Street, Kingston 14. Reports from the Central Police were that about 1:27 a.m., 3 people were traveling along Harbour Street when their vehicle ran out of petrol. They were approached by Farron, who offered his assistance, but they refused. After their refusal, Farron brandished a knife and robbed them of $2,000 and a pair of earrings, then escaped on foot in the area. The police were summoned, and upon their arrival, Farron was pointed out by the complainants. He was taken into custody and subsequently charged. His court date is being finalized. Nikita Noel's mom welcomes death penalty notice for man accused of killing her daughter. Tuesday's indication by the island's chief prosecutor that she'll be seeking the death penalty for the man accused of raping and murdering 9-year-old Nikita Noel is the sedative the child's mother, Nadia Edwards, had been praying for ever since her nightmare began on February 1 this year. It's a good move. At least right now I can sleep good. Me glad to me finally get justice, Edwards, who said she was not aware of the Director of Public Prosecution's intent to seek the death penalty for her former partner. It's not finished yet. It's a long way, but me glad so far, she added. Edwards, following her daughter's funeral earlier this month, had told journalists that the charges laid by the police against the accused, Omar Green, were no compensation for the loss of her only daughter. She wanted Green dead too, she said then. On Tuesday, DPP Paula Llewellyn, King's Counsel, served notice of her intention to seek the death penalty when Green appeared before the Hanover Circuit Court after she had, early in the day, entered an Holy Persecution in the Hanover Parish Court, discontinuing the matter there, and preferring a voluntary bill of indictment against him in the Hanover Circuit Court. Green is accused of committing the crimes in Esher, Hanover, on the same day that he and Edwards had a domestic spat. Nikita was on her way back home after attending school and the crime was committed. Llewellyn, in a statement issued to the media, said her office, having carefully considered the allegations, as disclosed within the evidentiary material gathered so far, the law and the public interest, took the decision to enter the nolle prosequi and also file and serve the death penalty notice. The DPP said in light of those provisions, and a consideration of the circumstances of the case and the public interest, it has been deemed appropriate by the ODPP for the death penalty notice to be prepared and served on the accused at the time that the voluntary bill of indictment was laid in the Hanover Circuit Court. This is to ensure that at the earliest opportunity, the accused is made aware of the intention of the prosecuting authority to make the recommendation that the death penalty is an option for the sentencing judge consequent on a conviction of the trial for the offense of murder in the course of furtherance of rape as outlined on count 1 of the indictment, Llewellyn said further. The matter has been set for mention on Monday, July 3, in the Hanover Circuit, for the file to be completed, a psychiatric evaluation report to be submitted, and disclosure to be made of all the material to the defense. Green has been represented by a court-assigned attorney. In sports news, KC and Edwin Allen take early lead in Champs 2023. Defending champions Kingston College KC and Edwin Allen High's quest to retain their crowns are off to a good start at the 2023 Inter-Secondary School Sports Association Grace Kennedy Boys and Girls Athletics Championships. After 4 finals, KC leads the boys section with 37 points to ahead of rivals Jamaica College on 35 points, Magalty 18 points, Calabar 15 points, and St. Elizabeth Technical 11 points round out the top 5. In the girls section after 4 finals, Edwin Allen are ahead of the pack with 31 points, followed closely by Homewood Technical 28 points, Alphonsus Davis 22 points, and St. Jago 22 points. Ideal High round out the top 5 with 16 points. Monique Stewart of Edwin Allen and Kingston College's Brian Kiprop were the winners of the Class 2 1500 meters. Stewart left it late to outdip Sydney Rose of Homewood Technical at the line to win the event. In the boys' equivalent of the event, Kiprop went stride for stride with his teammate Naashan Ruto, but Kiprop outclassed him for the top spot. Meanwhile, Jamaica College picked up a big 16 points after Michael Andre Edwards and Yuan Young both jumped over 7 meters to claim gold and silver in the Class 2 boys long jump. Edwards, who was last year's gold medalist in Class 3, continued his winning ways with a leap of 7.2 meters. He is also this year's corporate area champion. His teammate Young won the silver, while BB Coke High's Anthony Hall claimed the bronze. JBN, we keep you informed. Please remember to subscribe, like, share, leave us a comment, and click the notification bell to receive our daily news items.